The biggest mistake I made in my business was not hiring a professional to help me with my money. Not just my taxes, but the actual plan I had for my business. I was completely lost on how to handle taxes, what to do with profit, and how to maintain my income. I had to find a better way. That's when I found Core Financial. Core Financial is a team of tax professionals that actually care about building real relationships with their clients. They run my books, keep me up to date with my finances, and make sure I'm taking full advantage of all of my tax benefits. Are you struggling with your finances? Look no further. Core Financial is a brand that is nationwide that can help you with your business. Both Nick and I are huge fans of Core, and they can help you too. Check out howtofilmweddings.com/core to schedule a consultation today. Core Financial, real relationships, no surprises.
It seems like there are new cameras and equipment coming out all of the time. It gets increasingly confusing and the FOMO is real. John and I have been preaching for years that the best way to try out new gear is to rent before you buy. There is only one place that we recommend when it comes to renting, and that is our friends over at Lens Rentals. Lens Rentals is the premier source for renting not only camera equipment, but lenses, drones, projectors, and more. Do you have a big project coming up and you really need to wow your couple? Wanting to test out the newest camera before you drop thousands on it? You need Lens Rentals. My favorite thing is that if I love something I rent, I can keep it. They apply a portion of the rental fee to the purchase price, and within a few simple clicks, the gear is mine. So head over to howtofilmweddings.com/lensrentals and use promo code HTFW15 at checkout for 15% off of your order. Lens Rentals, the only place we recommend renting.
Hello and welcome to launch week of our complete wedding videography course and to the How to Film Weddings podcast. My name is John Bunn, and over across the screen, that way for me, not sure which way for you, is Nicholas Brett Homer Miller III. Live and in person in his cool hat, drinking his coffee in his brand new hoodie.
Are not true.
It's true. Your middle name is not that. It is launch week, Nick. It is November. It is birthday month. There are lots of things going on. I've had a lot of coffee, and I'm very excited because it's a very, very big day here at How to Film Weddings.
I think I can see you like shaking just a little bit, like in your screen with all the energy. Oh my word! Someone make that a GIF, please. Just make John shaking a GIF, please. Anyways, yes, it is launch week. As of right now, our course, the Complete Wedding Videography course, is on sale. And with that, we have so much cool things going on this week because, yes, our course is for sale and we would love for you to buy it, but we also have some giveaways. We have some free stuff. We have some more education. We have things that we want you to experience right now, today, as, you know, this episode goes live.
Yes, and as you said it, we're going to be pumped all week long because this is just the fourth time ever that we've opened up our course for enrollment. It is everything from business to shooting to editing. It's everything you need to run a six-figure business and beyond. It's kind of like Buzz Lightyear to infinity and beyond. I don't know if we can get the rights to that trademark statement. We'll look into it.
I doubt
Doubting it. But yes, it is available now at CompleteWeddingVideography.com. And Nick, I don't know if they know or not, but the first 50 people to enroll are entered to win a very massive giveaway inside of our Complete Wedding Video group. One of those things, can you see it back in the back?
Your microphone is covering it up, but for the first 50 people that register, everyone that's currently in our group that has purchased the course is qualified to win this, but the first 50 people extra that sign up for the course in our Complete Wedding Video group, we are giving away a Wedditor edit. So they will edit that for you. We are giving away a $500 Lens Rentals gift card.
Come on.
We are giving away a year subscription to MusicBed. And we are also giving away a brand new M1 MacBook Pro.
Yeah, we are, because we're excited. What else could you need besides this course and the fastest laptop in the history of the world? Just saying. So we're doing that as a big celebration. So just to make that clear, if you've already purchased our course, you just get, it's the gift that keeps on giving because you're already entered to win. Once we hit 50 new students as a celebration to 50 new students in the group, we're going to do a giveaway over in that private Facebook group. So if you've already purchased, good luck. We just wanted, that little push to take you over the edge. I know you've been asking questions. Is this right for me? We have so many testimonials, so many things all over at CompleteWeddingVideography.com. But Nick, this isn't just an episode for us to tell people why they should change their life by heading to CompleteWeddingVideography.com. It is an episode where we are going to talk about 5 different hacks to prepare for next year. But
I need you to hit the brakes. Yes, I need you to hit the brakes. Today,
tell me.
As the launch of this podcast goes live, today at 11 a.m. Central, we are going live and doing the Filmmaking with Intention workshop. We have planned 2 days and maybe a bonus day or 2 in there, but we are going to go live each day at 11 a.m. Central and howtofilmweddings.com/intention. And one of the things that we are doing with that is we are doing some free giveaways just if you register and are part of that. You need to be present to win, but if you go to howtofilmwedding.com/intention, register to be a part of this workshop, we're going to give away more Lens Rentals gift cards. We're going to give away B&H gift cards, and our big prize is a DJI Air 2S drone, which is the drone that I just purchased like a month ago or so, and it is incredible. I came from the original Mavic to this one, and it's like, when you go from standard depth to Blu-ray. Like it's unbelievable how great the quality is that I went from going, making that jump. So that is happening as of launch of this podcast today and tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central. So make sure you register there at howtofilmweddings.com/intention.
There are so many things going on because it is a very exciting week. 2 things you need to remember. Our course, CompleteWeddingVideography.com, the free workshop. We're going to be teaching you how to be a filmmaker with intention because 2022 is coming, whether you like it or not. And I've seen it so many times, Nick, like in our mastermind group, people just had booked so many things a year ago. They hadn't been intentional, this time last year with what their prices were going to be, their bookings, all that. And that whole workshop is going to be all about getting intentional and getting ready for the busiest wedding season of our lives. And today, we're kind of kicking that off with an episode just thinking through some hacks to prepare for 2022. So you can listen to this episode and then head over to the workshop and get yourself ready for next year. So, Nick, 5 ways to prepare for 2022. Let's just get into it. Are you ready?
I am ready to just dive in and jump in and hear what you have to teach me.
Oh, great. That's no pressure. Well, we kind of went over these beforehand, so I don't know if I'm going to teach you anything. I get what you did there. I'm picking it. Okay. Number 1, if you're taking notes or if you're just into making sure the list is checked off, the first thing that you want to do to prepare for 2022 is get yourself a budget and know your numbers. So, Nick, what does that mean?
So, I think in the creative field or running, like most people in our industry, whenever they start to become a filmmaker, a photographer, whatever, the creative side, I think, is really what fuels this industry. Okay. So many people want to just get into it to create art. And then whenever you start doing this, you quickly realize that the art side of it is just a very, very small portion of it. Okay. And I know that whenever I first started going, I would not really keep track of the money, and I wouldn't know, and I would just buy stuff. Of course, I did have another full-time job, so that made that a little bit easier. But I would just spend money willy-nilly, and I would make decisions based on my current bank account rather than looking months ahead and figuring it out. So most people, one of the things that John and I have been talking a lot lately, especially in our mastermind, is preparing for the future, looking ahead. What are your numbers? Do you have a budget sheet where you can see 6 weeks out? Earlier this year, here's an example. I actually used the budget sheet that John made whenever we started How to Film It. Actually, before that, and I actually for the first time in 2021 used it, and I filled out all of my numbers, and I looked at the payments that I knew I had coming in and all of that stuff. And in February, I was able to write myself a $15,000 check in order to pay off my student loans. And whenever I had all of my numbers in there and I took out that $15,000, I could still see because I had the year in a look, or a year in a glance, whatever you want to look at it, that each month with new money coming in, I would be okay, and I wouldn't really hurt myself, my business, by writing myself a $15,000 check to do that. That is just one of those things. Whenever you know your numbers, whenever you know the money that is coming in, you can be prepared for the things that are going to come up when running a business. I've chatted a bit. What do you have to add?
I just want to say most wedding filmmakers don't pay attention to this kind of thing. And if you don't know, like if we're thinking about 2022, because just spoiler alert, it's almost here.
What?
It'll be here. Yeah, I know. It'll be here very soon.
It will be.
2022 is not just your typical year. You have a lot of things happening, a lot more weddings happening, and wedding filmmaking is at a premium because people are really realizing the importance of what we do more so than ever in the history of the planet. So just knowing that and knowing your value, but if you haven't paid attention to your budget or your numbers, you're not going to know what to charge. You're not going to know how many things that you've booked already. You're going to overbook and you're going to get burned out. So preparing for 2022 right now, if you haven't done it already, you need to know how much you want to make next year. Like realistically, how much do you want to make? What is your goal? And then you need to know how many weddings in an ideal world you want to shoot. And then you can divide that number by the other number and know how much you need to average per wedding. And it will help you to be able to see, oh, I need 26 weddings at $4,000. If I need to do, I want to make this much money or whatever it is. Most of us just kind of take what we get, think that we're going to just book people based on awesome work. And we don't really know, oh, I'll take one more, I'll take two more. And there's no intention behind it. And that's where you get these weddings that you booked in the moment because you needed the money, or you thought you needed the money. You had no idea because you didn't have a plan. And then you get to October or November of the next year and you're like, oh my goodness, I have 15 weddings to edit and all of them are boring to me, or I don't want to do these weddings, or I'm not inspired. And that's why most wedding filmmakers quit in their first 3-4 years of business, because they don't have that plan. So number one hack, you need to know your budget. You need to know your numbers. Little spoiler alert, we have templates for all those things inside of our course, which is available right now. Just saying.
Yeah. And kind of everything that we're talking about today really funnels under that. It's 5 hacks, but it's kind of like one big thing to prepare you for 2022, and then like everything else kind of funnels under that. And so that's why we talked about the budget and the numbers first, because in running a business and thinking about the future and being intentional with, creating the films that you're going to create, you need to know that number side, because you are able to, the things that you do with your money are going to dictate how much money you have and how your business is and your bottom line and all of that sort of stuff. So budgeting numbers, that's the big one. That's the number one that you need to really prepare for and think of in 2022. So the next thing that we want to talk about is going to be gear. All right. This, if you're in our forums, in our Facebook group, howtofilmweddings.com/community, if you're not a part of it yet, but there are so many questions whenever new cameras get released, and, is this the perfect camera, or, this drone or this computer? Like, there is so much stuff, but we're not necessarily talking about purchasing new gear, which, if it's been 5 years for you, maybe you should look into that. But I want to talk about the big thing is maintenance with your gear. Okay. John, I don't know if you have ever been this way, but let's say you have a lens and maybe it's just not as sharp as it used to be. And so I know that I have had the thought of, well, I guess I just need to spend $2,000 and get a new lens because this one isn't as sharp as it used to be. Whenever I could spend a few $100s and send that lens into Canon and have them recalibrate it and fix it and do all that sort of stuff. So depending on how old your gear is, maybe this is a time whenever you have a month off or 2 months off, in the winter, if you're in a, 4 seasons kind of climate like John and I are, maybe it's time to send your camera gear in so that you can get it cleaned up and fine-tuned and make sure that it's good. John, have you done that ever recently?
I send gear into a local camera shop, get it maintained, different things like that from time to time. One thing that I really sucked at doing for a long time is I'm not a gearhead kind of guy, and it's like if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of thing. It's kind of how I was taught to live life. And last year I was at a wedding, and it's like I've had these same monopods forever. and they're like 8 or 9 years old. And like, I know that like the middle, clip doesn't really work to keep it stable. So I never even use them. It's just like part of my life now. I just deal with it. I tighten it. Like I have light stands that I have to bring some pliers or some, to always tighten it beforehand. Cause it's just like in the middle of the night, the lights just start to slow down, like, or whatever. And it's like 40 of these things in my life. The SD cards aren't as, fast as they need to be, or, my Pelican case doesn't have pouches in one of my Pelican cases, or, just little things add up over time. And so at this time of the year, it's a really good time to prepare for 2022, to look and say, what are these things that while I'm at weddings, they really bother me? Or if I had these things, they would make my life so much easier next year. Because part of being successful in business and being successful as a creative is having the tools that you need. And I'm not talking about, life would be easier if I had, the brand new whatever camera. That's not what I'm saying. But like, I bought little, like these guys on my screen, whatever, little Velcro strips to like tighten wires up and keep them organized, or little things like that I just went through. And it was like, my life would be easier if both of my Pelican cases had built-in insert pouches, and if both, like, just little things like that. In the last year, I set aside and got 2 new tripods, and I got a bunch of new SD cards, and I just have updated little bitty things. But it is because I took a look and said, okay, I need these things fixed so I can do my job better for next year. And it's like, why didn't I do this forever ago? But when is the right time to do that? It's never, convenient to spend a few $100s on gear, or getting your lenses cleaned up, or your cameras, the sensors cleaned up. And so this is a good time, if your season is winding down, especially, to really pay attention to like, what would I really in a perfect world have going for me next year? And the last part I'd say about that is, on the gear side of things, I would just take everything, or I just kind of had accumulated things, and I didn't ever just stop and think, is this the system I want to shoot with next year? Is this what I want to be doing? Is this how many cameras do I want to be shooting with this many? And that's a big thing too, is to look and say, I'm going to be traveling a lot next year. I want to change my gear kit up. I want to be thinking. I talked a lot though, Nick. Anything you want to add to the gear talk?
The biggest thing that I think that everyone should consider, and I've been seeing a lot of posts in our Facebook group about losing footage, losing files from your memory cards. I think that, and especially if you're buying CFast cards, or you're buying some of, like, they're pretty they're going to come down in price, but to buy a 256 CFast card, you're going to spend $400, $500, for one of those, so that you can run these 4K, whatever footage. But memory cards do have a shelf life. Like, they do have a life on them. And so I would suggest at least once a year, if not every other year, replacing those memory cards, and to hopefully alleviate that. And another thing that, if you don't know this, always, whenever you format your cards, always do it in camera. Don't put them into your computer and then drag it to the trash and do it that way. Okay, always format them into your camera. That's going to help them last longer as well. So memory cards are a big deal for that. I know that coming into this wedding season, Jen and I bought all new memory cards for all of our stuff, just because we wanted to make sure that they were fresh for the year. So anyways, just think about that maintenance stuff, those things that you've always had on the back of your mind, but it's a little thing. It's a little thing I don't need to. But when it comes to a case of memory cards, what happens if it fails, and then because it was 4 years old, that's really going to kick you later. So anything you want to add about the gear stuff talk before we head into break?
I think I'm good.
Okay, so we are going to go to break, but when we come back, we're going to give you hack number 3 to prepare you for 2022.
Hi, it's Michael from Wedditor. We want to thank everyone for the incredible support we've received since sponsoring How to Film Weddings. Yes, we've had some growing pains, but we've had far more wins. And we're doing something that's never been done. We're a remote team of over 50 editors in 10 countries. I often joke that we're as much a logistics company as we are a creative company. Right now, demand is off the charts. And we don't just say yes to everyone and scramble to figure it out. That's why we're asking you to help us help more of you. In short, we're looking for more talented wed editors. Part-time or full-time, work from where you want, when you want, as long as you hit deadlines and deliver quality. It's a chance to get paid while growing as an editor. Our project managers work with you, explaining why something feels right or doesn't, because there's always a reason. If you're interested, we'd love to hear from you. Go to wededitor.com/editor and fill out our form.
Finding the perfect song for your wedding film can be so frustrating. We spend countless hours searching for the perfect song. When it comes to licensing music, Nick and I both love MusicBed. Not only do they have the best music, but their website makes it so easy to find the perfect song and to find it fast. We have both been using the MusicBed's wedding subscription for years and cannot recommend it enough. Not only are they adding new music from incredible musicians like Chapters, The Light, The Heat, and Tony Anderson all the time, they've made it incredibly easy to search their library for mood, genre, instrumentation, and even key. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed and use promo code HTFW for a free month of a MusicBed wedding subscription. howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed.
And welcome back from break. Just to remind you, it is launch week for the Complete Wedding Videography course as this podcast goes live. If you are interested in learning about the Complete Wedding Videography course, all you need to do is go to CompleteWeddingVideography.com. That is CompleteWeddingVideography.com, or reach out to us. This week, we are really available to answer any questions that you may have. So we are talking about hacks to help you prepare you for 2022. We've talked about budgeting and knowing your numbers. We talked about, preparing for gear. I think of it more as like a maintenance kind of thing, that sort of stuff, making sure all the other things other than cameras are, ready to go. And I want to talk about now is a great time, end of year, to go through your website. And I'm saying spring clean your website, but it's more like off-season clean, or I don't know what it is, but go through your website and make sure everything is up to date. John, have you ever been in the situation where you work really hard for a season of time and you update your website and you get it going and you put all these new films on it, and then you look up and it's 3 years later and it's the exact same thing that it was, from 3 years ago? I know I have been in that boat.
Yeah, I think that it's, as solopreneurs, most of us, or small teams, it's one of those I'll get to that later kind of things.
Definitely.
Oh, wow, it's been 8 months. It's been another, and just going through your page, every page, one by one, looking at the copy, just making sure it feels like you, that it's pointing toward, as you've learned more about who you are and the kinds of clients you want to work with. Are you speaking to them correctly? Mm-hmm. Are you showing off the films that you want? This is a great time to just update with the films that are the most, special to you for whatever reason, the ones you want to market with. Is your About Me page correct? Does it say like 2020 on it for any reason, or like are the numbers correct? And then the one thing that is a big deal that I've done a million times, and Nick and I were talking about this earlier, is like your contact page might say starting at, and it's the correct price, but maybe you have an FAQ page that says, how much do you charge? And then it's got the wrong price, or it's over here in like 3 different spots on your website have 3 different prices. And so just like really going through with a fine-tooth comb and updating all of the copy, all of the prices. I know you were going to add something, or did I steal it?
No. I mean, that was exactly what I was going to say. One of our mastermind students, he was going through and just wanted inspiration for his website. And he let me know. He's like, hey, Nick, I was just looking at your website for some inspiration. I want to let you know that on this page, you have this price. And on this page, you have this price. And in your FAQ, you have a different price. And so I would update the price, but I would only update the one on my contact form because I forgot the other ones existed. And so that is a big thing. And another thing is, putting those films out there, the ones that you have currently worked on that you are so proud of, that really show who you are as a business owner and that sort of stuff as a filmmaker. Put those on there, consistent info. Oh, another thing is testimonies. Okay. Mm-hmm. a testimony is a testimony. And even if it's 5 years old, like, you don't need to update it just because it's old. But have you gotten new ones? Have you gotten ones that are, say, more in line with what you want them to say? Like, this is my ideal testimony, that sort of stuff. Put those on your website, put those on pages, put them in blogs. I don't know, somewhere, but update with testimonies. That's another thing that you should be considering.
I would also throw it out there that if you don't have a buddy that's in the industry, you really should be finding somebody that's a buddy to just look through, read through, just have somebody else look at it and say, is anything confusing? Does this point, like
good.
who am I trying to sell to? Like, have them do a little audit, whether it's a wedding photographer friend, whatever. And then the other thing is like asking, and this might have needed to happen before today, but like, this morning I sent a text to a photographer that I knew I worked with this summer that I knew took a photo of me and the couple at sunset on their rehearsal dinner night. And I was like, hey, you don't happen to have that photo? And just like asking through, I really want that photo as one of my About Me photos on my website. And so just like going through like that, that's the kind of stuff that I'm looking at right now, creating new little hero banner video clips that go on my website with the newest, best footage, updating the website, getting ready for 2022. Again, it's going to be a crazy year next year. You're not going to have time to do this kind of stuff later. Just be ready for the storm that's happening in 2022. But like getting that stuff ready now, because if you don't know, most people are about to be getting engaged. Between Thanksgiving and Valentine's Day, it's like 80% of people or 70% of people that get engaged, especially in the States, get married in that time. So getting that ready, thanks for appreciate that.
I'm here for you.
Get engaged in the next few months. And so getting that ready, knowing those, the budget stuff, getting your gear ready, all that's going to stack up to the next thing, unless Nick has anything else he wants to add about the website. So the next thing, he's shaking his head no, is in preparing for 2022 is updating your pricing and your packages. Nick, I'm going to let you start on this one.
Right. So, as our industry is, we're like a year behind where we're going to be, because right now on my calendars, I have weddings booked through December of 2022, whatever next year is. Yeah, I have. So, and they've sent in the contract, they've signed it, they're locked in. Okay. So the thing is that as you're looking at your pricing and you're looking at your year, you've already kind of looked at your numbers, you've figured that stuff out. Okay. Where am I going to be now when these people start getting engaged and they start looking and they see that 2022 is absolutely bananas and everything's booked up? So it's, a lot of these people are probably going to be pushing into 2023, to get, that sort of stuff. So as you look at your numbers, what do you need to make? What do you want to make? You are going to be, 12 months more seasoned. You are going to be 12 months better. You are going to have shot, 10, 15, 20, 40 more weddings by the time that their wedding rolls around. So you should price yourself accordingly. Okay. And you want to be prepared and ready for this before engagement season really, really hits. Right. So go through those packages and those pricing and say, is this price good for me? Is this what I want to make? And if it is what you want to make, then that's fine. But also think about, as I've looked back at this wedding season, is there anything in my packages that I absolutely that I hate that I have to do that? What can I remove and maybe keep the pricing the same? Maybe it's some sort of doc edit, a long form doc edit. You're like, I just want them to have their memories. And so, but you hate doing it. So maybe you remove that from the base package and then that's an a la carte item. So if they are going to do it, now it costs them, $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000 more to get that, whatever. So go through your packages and line item it out and figure out, is this worth it? Is this what I want to do? Is this what I want to make? And ask yourself those questions.
Yeah, I really like what you said about like 12 months from now is what you're booking. And we say it a lot, future you is calling you on the phone and saying, please value yourself more than you do today. Don't sell a package for the value that you think you are today, because that's not when you're filming that wedding. And so many of us, if you could just get this through your heads, that it's just, oh, I am more valuable. And what's going to happen, and you can rewind back in 6 months from now, maybe I'm crazy and tell me I'm wrong, but what's going to happen is, and it's already happening, is venues are filling up, vendors are getting booked, and less people are available. And some of these people that are not even engaged yet are going to get engaged, and they're going to be like, oh, I want to get married in April, or I want to get married in October. And it's like, I'm sorry, I'm booked in those months, or I'm booked in June. And they're going to start freaking out a little bit. Like, oh my goodness, like if I want to have the vendor I want, I'm going to have to get married in 15, 16, 17, 18 months from now. And they're going to start calling frantically, can we book? Are you available? Are you? And the more people that are crammed into that, engagement season, the less time we have available as wedding filmmakers. And if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably one of the upper wedding filmmakers in your region that care, and you're going to get booked up quickly. And so if your packages and pricing don't reflect the actual market, what's going on this year, you're going to lose out on money and maybe book too many weddings because you've put too little of a value on yourself. It's similar to hotel rooms downtown when Justin Bieber's coming to town, or whomever is the cool, hip, whatever person. Point being, like, Justin Bieber's coming to Tulsa in March, and hotels are already more expensive and sold out for that time because he's a big deal or whatever. And guess what? The hotels have to charge more money to handle the demand, and more people are willing to pay it because they want to have a spot downtown when that's, singer's in town or whatever. And that's very similar. You don't want to just jack up your prices, but you also have to, acclimate to where things are going. And if you're booking it now for less, you're going to start getting calls and you're going to be booked on that day. And they're going to, and it's similar to a wedding I just booked for over 15 grand, the one we talked about on the podcast last week. Somebody had reached out about that day for way less, and I had said, I'm sorry, I start at this price. If I would have bent and done that wedding, I wouldn't have booked the biggest wedding of 2022 for me. I would have booked like a $7,000 or $8,000 wedding, which would have been great, obviously, but getting the right bookings and the people that see the value, like having those things organized in such a way, instead of just like, oh, this is what I'm changing. Another side of this is, how do you present your packages? Maybe you do need to grab one of our templates, or, have a designer create packages, and pricing sheets for you that make it easier for you to sell.
Yeah. Such great wisdom there that we have learned the hard way. We've been, I've been doing this for 8 going on 9 years. John's been doing it for 15. And, we have learned, we have overbooked ourselves, and we wish that we would have started thinking about future us and thinking of these things. And that's what we want for you. So go through your packaging, figure that out. And, raising your prices doesn't necessarily look like, just putting another zero at the end, or adding $1,000 or something. Like, maybe it's, hey, just a couple $100 here, or but you're valuing yourself more. So you're raising it just a little bit, so that you can, make more for that. And in the future, you can at least be compensated a little bit better than you are now. So we talked about, knowing your numbers. We've talked about gear and maintenance and thinking about that, and website. We've talked about pricing and packages. And the last thing that we want to touch on to prepare you for 2022 is going to be education. John wrote in our notes, edumacation. Yeah, that's what you say when you're not very... education and all, like... Here's the thing. I think in my 8th year of doing business before I stopped having so much pride to learn from others. I just had this chip on my shoulder. I'm going to do this on my own. I'm going to figure this out on my own. I'm not going to waste money on education. That's stupid. I'll learn it on my own. And what I didn't realize that, I did save some money on not doing education. Like I didn't pay for the education, but it cost me 2 different ways. It cost me in the time that it took to learn all of that. Like, it cost me so much time. And then it cost me the opportunity cost of not knowing that information quicker.
So yeah, I'm doing well now. I'm in my 15th year. I know I could have been to where I'm at now 5 or 6 years sooner. And that's what we want for you with education. Obviously, our course is for sale and open for enrollment today and the next 6 days. That's great. Like, we want you to join that if that's the right fit for you. If you need help with your business, your shooting, your editing, if you want all of our templates, if you want our posing guide, if you want all these things, we think it's the best course out there for wedding filmmakers to grow their business, make more money. We would love for you to join that. But whether it's us or whether it's something else, you need to be preparing for education in 2022. You need to be thinking who you want to learn from. Is it wedding filmmakers? Do you want to take a college class? Do you want, what are you doing to get yourself better for next year? Who can you learn from? Nick, what do you want to add about that? I have some more thoughts, but I want you to chime in here.
Yeah. So one of the things that I tell, people that I'm selling to, for me to film their wedding, I always say, I believe so much in having a wedding video that I want you to have one. I want you to hire us, and I would love to work with you, but if it doesn't work out, you need to find someone to do this. And we so firmly believe that education, investing in yourself, is so important that we want you, yes, John, we want you to buy our course, and we want you to be a part of that community and all that kind of stuff. But if it's not ours, seek it out from somewhere else. Like, you need it to grow your business and to become better at what you do. You need that. One thing that I think is really cool is, let's say, you have a filmmaker, a wedding filmmaker that you absolutely love, and you love their style, and you want to pick their brain, and you want to ask them questions. Reach out to them and say, hey, I would love to do a 1-hour mentor session with you. Hey, I would love to do, travel to you and spend an afternoon with you. What would that look like? What would that cost? Can we do that? And I think that a big majority of people in our industry would be more than happy to let you pay them for their time and teach you the things that they have to know in that time frame. So reach out to someone. If you idolize them, if you look up to them, if there is your work or their business or something about them, if you want to learn from them, reach out to them and see if they can give you a mentor session, whether that's with us or someone else. Do that stuff to make yourself better.
Yeah, and there are all kinds of other ways, obviously, to do education. There's YouTube. There's other things that are free. We found the best thing for wedding filmmakers is to really dive in on specific things that you want to be educated with, whether it's something like KEJ, they have their audio course, and you just really want to learn audio this year. You could do that. Or if you really want to learn, color grading with Kaylin, or, with White and Reverie, or if you want to learn Final Cut, or if you want to learn, there's little pockets of things. And then there are broader courses that teach you, our course is 30 plus hours of content on everything, walking you through how to set up business, how to make more money with your business, how to shoot through an entire wedding day, one little portion a day, behind the scenes watching, all that kind of stuff is great on the education. What Nick said about mentor sessions, I really wish I would have done this sooner than later, is just with the power of Zoom now and everybody being hop on for an hour. We love doing mentor sessions. We love, I'm looking at a couple of people that are mentors of mine. It's I do things like that with people and pick their brains on what I should be doing. And I wouldn't limit it, if I were you, to just wedding filmmakers. What are some wedding planners or photographers? And then who are some other business professionals? Our attorney, I reach out to her and have her do education for me and learning how certain things work or how I can run my business better. And then books, audiobooks, that kind of stuff. Education, it is what will change you between this time this year and this time next year. The education you consume and the people you meet, those are the big things. And if you're not paying attention to educating yourself and working on your business, another year will go by and you'll have less skills than somebody that is willing to put in that work.
Yeah. So in quick, a recap of everything we've talked about today. So the 5 things that you can do to really prepare yourself for 2022, make a budget, know your numbers, know where you want to go. think about your gear, especially the maintenance side or the little things, memory cards, stabilization, that sort of stuff. Go and go through your website, look at it, do a little updates, maybe put new headshots, put new videos, change text, make sure it looks good. Go over your pricing in your packages and make sure that you are charging accordingly and the services that you're offering are what you want them to be. And last, look into education, whether that's a course like ours or a mentor session or finding audiobooks or podcasts or whatever. Continue to educate yourself and to grow. John, I think that this has been a pretty good episode. And if you guys, will take some of this information, that we have shared with you, in 12 months, your future self will be calling you and thanking you because you have done some of these things. Would you agree?
It is very true. There are many more things. If you have a hack or something that you're doing to prepare for 2022, and if you're watching this on YouTube or whatever, leave a comment. Let us know what you're doing. Let us know if this is helpful. We've said it a billion times, so I'm not going to plug the course anymore, but we have the Filmmaking with Intention workshop today and tomorrow if you're watching or listening to this live. Lots of big giveaways, lots of big things. Thank you, community, for continuing to push and help us with, just growing, and it's just really cool. Like when we do a course launch or we're releasing something, watching the people come in and join and just seeing the community wrap their arms around us. Like, we love this community. We're 3 years into doing this podcast now, which is crazy. It's getting bigger. It's growing every single month. We're really excited about it. I love this place. We hope you do too. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And until next time, we'll see you.
See ya.
Are you looking for a better way to deliver your wedding films to your couples? Look no further. Our friends over at WedFlow provide the most flexible video delivery solution on the market. WedFlow is pay per project with no large upfront cost or commitment, and you can cancel anytime. Not only that, WedFlow offers a premium viewing experience for your couples, accessible on mobile, tablet, desktop, as well as their very own suite of TV apps. Each project comes with 10 years hosting and an experience for your clients that will blow them away. Stop delivering your films the old-fashioned way and give your couples something to rave about. Head on over to howtofilmweddings.com/WedFlow to check out WedFlow today.